got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming.
Welcome back to Santa Has a Podcast, where we're going to share stories and laughs and holiday spirit and everything from the North Pole. You know, how are you doing? Welcome back this week. We got all kinds of neat things we want to talk about today, and I hope you're ready for a lot of fun and enjoyment. And I can't wait to talk about today because what we're going to do is talk about what do the elves do, what goes on during the off season. Right now, we're in the off season. We're getting ready for the holidays, but it's still summer to a lot of us. So we have some people that are going on vacation once in a while, and even Santa likes a little vacation. Mrs. Claus definitely does. So lots of things we have to think about in the off season. Plus, we have to stay in condition and stay in shape and be ready for all the work that comes when Christmas comes along. So there's a lot of things to do, from the sleigh sprints to snowball games to snowball sprints and training. And I have to do stretching exercises. And I don't like stretching exercises, but I have to do them because if I don't do them, I can't get up and down the chimney. So I got to do lots of stretching exercises. It's very important. So let's dive in. But before we dive in, remember we had a riddle last week. Do you remember the riddle? Do you have your answer for the riddle? Okay, I'm going to repeat the riddle again, and then you tell me what your answer is, okay? This is a merry moment look back at what we had last week. So here's the riddle. I fly without wings. I travel the skies. I carry some gifts, and I bring lots of surprise. What am I? Did you get the answer? It's Santa's sleigh. Yes, my sleigh. Yes, my sleigh has no wings on it. It flies through the skies. It carries lots and lots of gifts, which are all for you because they're all surprises. Isn't that neat? Well, I hope you got that answer. I know some of you did. I was watching you this week as you were all talking about it, and I peeked in on a few of you, and that's neat to know that you know those answers. And we may have another riddle a little later, but in the meantime, we've got to move on because we're going to talk about the off-season, what Santa and the elves and the reindeer do to get ready for the holiday season. You know, the elves have a lot of things that they do at the North Pole with regards to the toy making and, you know, all the things we need for the gifts for all of you. Plus, they have to get the gifts wrapped and everything loaded in the bags, and the bags ready for the sleigh and things like that. But, you know, sometimes they need a little recreation. They need to have a little time to, some people will say, you kids don't know what this word means, but for some of you adults watching, decompress, okay? They need to relax a little bit. So the elves do snow jumping, and they do cookie dodgeball, and other crazy things. They have almost like their own elf games. You know, I've even been told that some of the elves like to call on the leprechauns and have little soccer games where they play soccer against each other. Can you imagine the fun watching the elves compete against the leprechauns in field soccer? It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. And of course, the reindeer, they do a lot of practicing too. Now, they're not always ready to fly just yet because they haven't had their full share of magic oats and grains. But right now they do practice running, they do practice leaping, they practice power glides and sliding and making fast right turns and fast left turns and all kinds of neat things, you know, so that they can get to all of the homes and do everything they have to do on Christmas Eve. So they have to be very nimble and very fast. So they practice all of that so when the time comes to fly, they're ready to go. And then, of course, I practice a little bit and, you know, like I said, I do my stretching exercises and I eat lots of frosty fruit treats, you know, fruit and fruit salad. That's good for my health, you know. I mean, I get lots of cookies at Christmas, but I have to eat healthy sometimes. Have your parents ever said that to you? You need to eat healthy? So guess what? I eat my broccoli. Yes, and I eat my cabbage, and I eat all kinds of other, you know, wonderful foods and have wonderful meals. And then, of course, salads. I love salads, all kinds of salads. They're really great. And then, of course, I have protein bars. Protein bars have lots of grains and things like that. My favorite is a peppermint protein bar. Yeah, you know, have you ever had peppermint bark? Okay, well, the protein bar is a protein bar with the nuts and the oats and the grains and raisins, and on top there's a little peppermint bark on top. And it is delicious, and it's healthy. So, Mrs. Claus likes it when I eat healthy, okay? And then Mrs. Claus, she has her own set of things to do. She does all this wonderful work at Christmas, and she cooks and bakes, cookies and all kinds of snacks and things. She helps supervise some of the elves and things when I'm busy running around. But during the summer months, what do you think she does? She has her own cozy winter yoga. Yes, yoga. She's got special mats, and she does another thing, they call it snoga. Instead of yoga, they call it snoga. And they practice all kinds of little things. They get their mats out, and they do all kinds of little stretching this way and stretching that way, and all kinds of fun things. So again, she does that, and she also teaches the elves snoga, because the elves use the snoga to keep in shape also. They're just like, Santa and Mrs. Claus. We all need a little exercise. Exercise is very important. And she wants me to do it too, so I have to do it. I get up in the morning and, before I, start combing my hair and curling my beard and my mustache and everything like that, I will sit on the edge of the bed and do stretching exercises and put my leg out and, put my feet out and bend over and touch my toes and all kinds of things. Santa might be an old man, but I have to keep in shape so that I can deliver all those toys to you on Christmas Eve. So she makes sure that I do my snoga and I keep in good health. By the way, I know you're watching the podcast right now, or you're listening to the podcast, but I want you to remember, when we're all done here, why not go outside and play for a little bit? It's important that every once in a while you go outside and play and have some good outdoor fun. You like outdoor fun? Santa does too. I like to go play with the elves. I like to go play with my reindeer. I don't always sit in my office. So again, it's important to do those types of things. Can you do that? Great, great. Well, those fun facts sure jingled my bells, and now we've got to go on to some other things here at the North Pole. And now it's time to find out what else is going on. We're going over to Candy Cane Square, and we've got our correspondent, and she's going to give us all the reports. Come in, Chatter Snowglitz.
Thanks, Santa. Well, snowflakes and sleigh bells. I'm Chatter Snowglitz, reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where the bells are jingling, the sleds are zooming, and even the snowflakes are smiling. Let's see what's happening around town today. Okay, well, over at Elf School today, the students completed not only a smoothie testing contest where Carrot Mint was the winner, but they also joined in on a smoothie chugging contest. And boy, was it fun. Over at Reindeer Training Camp, Dasher and Dancer led a hoof-tapping conga line where even the new trainees joined in with wobbling antlers, tangled tails, and zero sense of rhythm. But boy, did they have 100% holiday spirit. I wish you all could have witnessed that one. And Santa, you were spotted bouncing on the North Pole trampoline, even pulling off toe touches like a peppermint-powered cheerleader. We were all so impressed. Well, that's it for today. Reporting live with snow in my boots and a whole lot of stories in my sack, it's Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. Back to you, Santa.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Chatter. We may not have snow, but we sure got a lot of sparkle out there. That is really great. Well, right now, everybody, grab your flip-flops and let's jingle all the way to some off-season training funds and training hits. Would you like some off-season hints on what you can do when it's not Christmas? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about what they do at the North Pole. Number one, some of the elves have to go to elf school. Yes. Yeah. In other words, most of the adult elves, they're working in the factories and in the workshops and making all the toys and stuff. But what about their children? Their children have to get an education. So they have to go to elf school. They attend classes and they learn about teamwork and toy design. and zoom time, things like that. And even some of the adult elves that are working in the workshops, they have leadership training courses and management skills and things like that. All the big things adults want to know. Well, guess what? The older adults, the older elves learn all of those things too. The other thing that's really neat with all of what the elves do is they have weekly workshops and classes on kindness. All of the work that we do at the North Pole, the making of the toys, the wrapping, to getting them ready for delivery on Christmas, and then getting them to you in your homes on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that's all part of our kindness, because everything we do is for you, the children. Remember, our number one rule here is we are here for the children. And so we practice the kindness to do things for all the children. So that's very, very important. And that's what's also taught at the elf school. Then, of course, is the reindeer school, which is completely different from the elf school. I mean, the reindeer, they already love everybody. The reindeer are so kind and so wonderful, but we have to train them to be team members, to work together, to pull together when they have to pull the sleigh. Or if they're not the part of the regular group that takes my sleigh around on Christmas Eve, they also have to know how to help out around the North Pole, to help move all the equipment from one building to another building. Some of the elves get to ride the reindeer like horses to help deliver the mail and do other things around the North Pole. So the reindeer have their own programs and everything. Now, the reindeer that help with the sleigh, and even the backup reindeer that help with the sleigh, they all have to go to flying school. They learn flying practice, they learn sleigh pulling, how to pull a load, how to share the load with another reindeer. Because remember, there's 8 reindeer pulling the sleigh, plus maybe Rudolph on the front, 9 reindeer. They're all hooked together, and they have to pull as a team. One big pull to pull that big sleigh, which has tons and tons and tons of toys. So again, we need all of them to work together, so they learn all of that. And then to help them build up their stamina, there are snowball sprints, and they do a lot of running back and forth in the fields. In fact, the elves 2 years ago built a special arena just for the reindeer to practice in, to work on their sprints, to work on their speed and their agility, and they run all over the place. And by the way, they use the same arena for the reindeer games, so there's a multi-purpose for it, so it makes it kind of neat. And then, of course, we also have educational classes for the reindeer on weather and navigation and where the different countries are in the world. So when I ask a reindeer that we need to go to France, they know where we're going. Okay, if I tell them I want to go to Australia, they know where we're going because they know geography-wise where France is, where Australia is, where the other countries are. So we have all that going on for us. And then the final thing that we do is antler aerobics. Okay, now you're saying, what is antler aerobics? Well, have any of you seen a picture of the reindeer with all of their antlers on top? Well, that's very, very big, and if they move around, they move everywhere, and they have to be very careful. But they also can turn their heads and stretch their neck muscles and do all kinds of aerobic exercises using the weight of their antlers to help them move around and exercise. So antler aerobics is really a fun type of thing. The other thing is when they do this, they also practice being careful not to bump into each other or poke each other with the ends of their antlers, because those hurt a little bit sometimes when you get poked. So you got to watch out very much on that. So, and then the final thing that they learn about is wind balance. When you're flying up there thousands of feet in the air, it can be very windy, and the reindeer have to know how to maneuver in that wind and use the wind sometimes. Have you ever watched a bird, how it flies? The bird knows how to use the wind to communicate and get around. So that takes care of all the things with the reindeer. The final thing, of course, is Santa's workouts, and that is with the sleigh-ready workouts. I do my peppermint push-ups, okay, and then I do sleigh squats, okay, and then the tinsel curls, and lots of stretching exercises. Plus, I like to do a lot of walking. So anywhere I have to go at the North Pole, I try to walk everywhere, between the buildings and going from toy shop area to work area to maybe visiting the elves or handling the naughty or nice list, whatever I have to do. And I take the stairways. I take the steroids. I get my exercise by walking and doing a lot of walking up and down the stairways and stuff like that. So Santa keeps fit, keeps healthy, so that I can continue delivering presents to all of you every year on Christmas Eve. So that's some of what we do in the off season. And by the way, my one main job is I have to keep my boots in motion. My boots have to keep going all the time. There was one other item I wanted to cover. Let's see. Oh, Mrs. Claus told me to remind you that one of the other things we have to do is healthy eating. I mentioned this a little bit ago. I like my broccoli and things like that. Healthy eating is very important. I mean, cocoa is still one of my favorites, but now it comes with whipped cloud milk and some other things, and sometimes she tries to make me really eat healthy. She sprinkles little bits of spinach on top of my cocoa. I'm kidding, of course. Or am I? Anyway, the reindeer, of course, eat energy-packed snowballs. And, of course, they eat their magic oats and their magic grains and stuff like that. And then there is one other favorite dish that I have, and that's my jingle bean stew that Mrs. Claus makes. Kind of a special treat for me. When I'm down in the dumps or I've been working a long, long day, I get to come home, and she's got some jingle bean stew for me, so that's always a lot of fun. So, now, why does all of this matter, what we do in the off-season? Well, when we take care of our bodies and we take care of planning and organizing and getting ready for this big Christmas Eve, then it's easier to care for our others, okay, to take care of what is necessary. So if I'm in good shape and the elves are in good shape and the reindeer are in good shape and we've got everything organized and we know where we're going and we've studied the maps and know everything that's going on, then we can go around the world in one night and get to every home and deliver every present and be home in time for breakfast. Yeah, that's that simple. Okay, but it takes preparations. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying your summer and your own training. I know some of you, you're not in school right now. Maybe you can do a little exercising. Do you play basketball or soccer ball? Do you just, go outside and play with your friends? Having fun outside is exercise, and I think that's very, very important. It makes a healthier you in what you're doing, okay? Well, gang, now it's time to do a little bit of giggle. Let's head over to Rudolph. Rudolph has some of the funny jokes or things like that. I hope he doesn't, he tries to slay me. Sometimes these are a little rough to take, but I'll tell you what, Rudolph really tries to make you happy. So let's see if he can put a smile on your face and my face. Take it away, Rudolph. Hey, Santa, how do snowmen get around? By riding an icicle. What do you call a snowman party? It's a snowball. Those jokes really slay me. Rudolph, I don't know where you find these or how you put them together, but they're the top of the week every week. I just love them very, very much. Now let's peek into the mailbag and check on our Mailbox Magic, okay? Now remember, these are questions and notes that you have sent to us at our website right here at santahasapodcast.com, okay? And you sent in so many that we almost had the website go down. I mean, it was really a lot last week, but everything's working fine. We're still getting all the messages. And if you send one in, I might read it on a future podcast. So please go ahead and send it in. Here's our first letter of the day, and this one here is from Claire. Claire is 5 years old, and she's saying, Dear Santa, my baby brother is learning to walk, and I cheer every time, even though he falls a lot. Well, that's part of learning. We do fall down sometimes, but I'm glad that you cheer him on. And, sometimes you can actually help hold him up as he's walking along. Help him become a better walker, because someday he's going to be walking and then he's going to be running, and you're going to have a lot of fun together, playing together, because you'll get to run and play together. So that's wonderful that you told me. Okay. My second question is from Stephen. He's 6 years of age, and he says, Dear Santa, my dog Daisy has been extra good. Can she get a bone in her stocking? Well, I'm always talking about the fact that Santa's magic is toys, but guess what? Once in a while, I can get bones or snacks as favors for your pets, okay? And if I can't get a bone or a snack, maybe I get him a new collar or something like that. You think that would be good? because that's what the magic is that Santa can do. Okay, you be good on that, and we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, we do have some audio recordings. Some of you actually recorded a message for me. You have a question, so let's hear our first question of the day.
Santa, have you ever sneezed in somebody's stocking before?
Have I ever sneezed in someone's stocking? No. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't do that. Mrs. Claus always makes sure that I have tissues or a hanky. I have to take care of that because, sometimes I'm a little allergy, a little dust. A lot of times what it is there's a lot of glitter, and the glitter gets thrown in the air, and I get kind of an itchy nose, and so I do have to have a little hanky or something to take care of my sneeze. But I would never, ever, ever sneeze in anybody's stocking, let alone sneeze on your tree or on a package or anything like that, okay? What else do we have on a request or question?
Santa, do you like ice cream?
Does Santa like ice cream? Oh my goodness. Does Santa have a big tummy? Yes, he does. But that means he likes ice cream too. And of course, we also like snow cones, because that's like ice cream. I like frozen yogurt. All kinds of icy dishes are kind of neat to have. Again, we're used to everything at the North Pole, but icy dishes are always refreshing. And right now, it's still close to the summertime and the fall. Ice cream is still a real popular dish right now. So yes, those are great, great questions. We want to thank you so much. In fact, it's really surprising as we get all of these letters and notes from everybody, how many of you ask the same question. Yes, so sometimes I try to recognize that the same question might have been asked by 2 people, 3 people, maybe even 4 people. You all ask the same question, so it is very wonderful to have those types of things. Well, it's now time to quiet down a bit. Remember, we got to be real quiet. If you get quiet, a little quieter, that's good. Now we can hear the spirit meter and see how well it's running. Listen. Wow, that sound is stronger and stronger every week. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I do appreciate, the challenge that you do every week when I give you a little deed or something to do it. You go ahead and you do it. And when you do it, the spirit meter gets stronger and stronger. That's really great. You remember last week I asked you about donating something, and so many of you went into your closets and went into your drawers and you pulled out some of those old toys that, you remember them, you loved them, but you don't use them anymore, you don't need them, and now you're going to donate them to somebody else. And I thank you for doing that because you are putting smiles on children everywhere. In fact, can you imagine if you closed your eyes for a minute? Just think about that child who wasn't expecting a surprise, and all of a sudden they opened their eyes and they saw that there was a gift, a toy, a book, or a game that you gave them. Thank you so much for doing that. That is so, so special. So I know all of you did that, but now this week we got to think about what's our challenge for this week. What good deed can you do this week to help make that spirit meter go even higher? Would you like to see the spirit meter go even higher? Well, we can do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a healthy habit this week. Okay? Yes, a healthy habit. I want you to go out and go for a walk with your family, okay? Or help pack a nutritious lunch, so that you can, eat well. Or maybe you do some exercising. Start a new workout. Add something new to what you're doing in your workout. So the idea is to be a little bit more healthy. So maybe when you get up in the morning, you touch your toes and you bend over and you do some twists and the turns, some stretching exercises. Or like I've suggested, go with your family on a walk. Walk around the block. Walk down to visit a friend in the neighborhood. This little bit of exercise is really great for you, okay? Sometimes you can't do it with family. You can do it at home. You can do exercise at home. Or maybe it's just packing a healthy lunch to take to school. All of these things are things that you can do to help the spirit meter. So can you guys try that? Which one are you going to do? Oh, that's good. I like hearing that. Okay. Well, I hear a spirit meter rising already. I know that every time, sometimes you don't even have to do the task. I can hear you, or the meter can hear you thinking about what you're going to do, and the meter gets little bumps and sparks and goes a little bit higher. So thank you so much. Well, my merry pals, that's about it for today. But before I say goodbye, I think it's time to handle another one of Santa's special riddles. Are you ready? Do you think you can guess the answer to this riddle before next week? Well, here we go. Listen up. Here it goes. I'm tall and green with branches wide. Inside or outside, I wear lights with pride. What am I? Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Here we go. I'm tall and green with branches wide. Inside or outside, I wear lights with pride. What am I? If you know the answer, okay, we're going to tell you next week. But in the meantime, think about it if you don't know the answer, and we'll get back to you at that time. So until next time, everybody, keep spreading joy and kindness, okay? And I'll talk to you next time here on Santa Has a Podcast. Ho, ho, ho!
Santa's coming to town.